Peace be upon you all. Have you ever thought that in this seemingly complicated world of math, there's a simple secret hidden? Today, we're going to explore two amazing ideas: digital roots and combined operations. These two ideas don't just help with everyday math, but also open our eyes to the beauty of number patterns in nature and the Quran. These ideas are like a secret key, unlocking a treasure chest of knowledge that has been hidden all this time. It's super easy. Anyone can understand it, no matter their age. We'll see how big numbers can be made smaller into just one digit. And from there, a new world full of patterns and wonders will open up. Even more interesting, we'll connect this knowledge to Islamic numerology, important numbers like 5, 7, and 19, and the secret behind the 114 chapters of the Quran. Math is the language of nature, and by understanding it, we get closer to the Creator. Let's start this journey together. What exactly is a digital root? Is it just a complicated math term, or is there more to learn from it? It's actually quite simple. You add up all the digits in a number until you get a single digit from 1 to 9. This process is really easy and fun. For example, 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7. So, the digital root of 25 is 7. This is a very basic example. For bigger numbers, you repeat this process a few times until you get a single digit. For example, 348. 3 plus 4 plus 8 equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So, the digital root of 348 is 6. This process can be used for any number. No matter how big the number is, the digital root is always a single digit. This is the beauty and wonder of math. Think of it like a nickname for numbers. Another example is 1,234,567. This process helps us understand numbers better. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 equals 28. This is the first step. 2 plus 8 equals 10. We're almost at the final answer. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So, the digital root of 1,234,567 is 1. This process is very satisfying. Why is it important? It shows us basic patterns in our number system that we often miss. It reveals basic patterns in the number system. This is something really interesting to explore. Different numbers can share the same digital root, showing they have similar basic qualities. This reveals a deep connection between numbers. In math, the digital root is a quick tool to check calculations and understand how numbers relate. It makes calculations easier and faster. It's also used in numerology to find meaning behind numbers. This adds a new layer to how we understand numbers. With digital roots, we can simplify and understand numbers more deeply. This is a very useful tool in many areas. Simple, practical, and full of wisdom. The digital root is the key to unlocking the secrets of numbers. I understand you want me to explain the connection between the number 15,873, 15873, its digital root, 6, half of 12, and the combined operation, 12, 6, which results in 126 x 126 equals 15,876, 15876, interpreted as the 15th surah, 87th verse, 6th word, wal Quran. I will explain this in simple English for everyone, with numbers written as words, following the framework of digital root theory and combined operations, and confirm the connection with Surah Al-Hijr, the 15th surah, 87th verse, 6th word. Understanding number patterns from 15,873 to wal Quran. Imagine numbers as a puzzle that leads us to the secrets of the Quran. You gave a series of numbers and steps. 15,873 has a digital root of 6, which is half of 12. With combined operations, we take 12 and 6, make 126, and multiply 126 hex 126, getting 15,876. This is interpreted as the 15th surah, 87th verse, 6th word, which is Wal Qur'ana, meaning and the Quran. Let's break down these steps in a simple way. Step 1. Digital root of 15,873 equals 6. The digital root is how we simplify a number to a single digit by repeatedly adding all its digits. For 15,873, 15873, 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 3 equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. So, its digital root is 6. This is correct and matches what you said. Step 2. 6 equals half of 12. You mentioned 6 is half of 12. 12, 2 equal 6. This is also correct. The numbers 6 and 12 seem important in this pattern, perhaps because they appear in numerology or the next step. Step 3. Combined operation 12/6 equals 126. In a combined operation, we take numbers, break them down, do calculations, and put them back together to find a pattern. You said combining 12 and 6 results in 126. This can be understood as combine means putting 12 and 6 together to form 126. For example, 12 and 6 arranged as 12 and 6, 126. This is a creative step in numerology where we read numbers as a code. Step 4. 126 equals 15,876. Now we multiply. 126 hence 126 equals 15,876. 126 equals 115,876. Let's confirm the calculation. 126 is 126. 126 plus 100 plus 20 plus 6 is 126 is 100 plus 126 plus 20 plus 126 6. 126 100 kills 12,600. 126 plus 20 is 2,520. 126 6 756. Total 12,600 plus 2,520 plus 756 equals 15,876. This calculation is accurate. Step 5. 15,876 equals 15th Surah, 87th verse, 6th word. In the original paper, 15,876 is interpreted as 15th Surah al-Hijr, the 15th Surah, 87th equals 87th verse. 6 is the 6th word in that verse. Let's check this verse. The 15th Surah, 87th verse says, Arabic text, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ سَبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي وَالْقُرْآنَ الْعَظِيمِ. English translation, and we have certainly given you 7 of the often repeated verses and the grand Quran. Break it down into words. وَلَقَدْ, وَلَقَدْ, and certainly آتَيْنَاكَ, أَتَيْنَكَ. We have given you sab'an, 7 min, of al-mathani, al-mathani. The often repeated verses wal-Qur'an, wal-Qur'ana, and the Qur'an al-Azim, al-Azim, the grand. This verse has 7 words, and the 6th word is wal-Qur'ana, meaning and the Qur'an. This is exactly as you stated. Step 6. Confirming the digital root of 15,876. To complete the framework, let's check the digital root of 15,876. 15,876. 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 is 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9. The digital root of 9 symbolizes completeness in numerology, which fits this verse praising the Quran as grand. Why is this pattern special? Let's connect these dots. 15,873 has a digital root of 6. 6 is half of 12. With combined operations, 12 and 6 become 126. 126 x 126 equals 15,876, which points to the 15th Surah, 87th verse, 6th word, Wal Qur'ana. The word Wal Qur'ana refers to the Qur'an itself, emphasizing its importance in this verse. It's like numbers talking to lead us to a meaningful verse of the Qur'an. Digital roots and combined operations help us. Simplify. Digital roots condense numbers to their essence. 6, 9. Confirm. Calculations like 126 or 126 are accurate. Reveal patterns. Numbers point to specific verses and words in the Qur'an. Conclusion. This number pattern is really interesting. Starting from 15,873. Digital root 6 half of 12. We use combined operations to get 126 x 126 equals 15,876. This leads us to the 15th Surah, 87th verse, 6th word, Wal Qur'ana. This pattern shows the beauty of mathematics in the Qur'an, where numbers become keys to understanding the greatness of the holy verses. I understand you'd like me to explain the connection between the coordinates 1587.3, 15 to 87.3, the number 7, 77, 777,777, 777, and the equation 7x 7x 15,873 equals 777,777. I'll explain this in simple English for everyone, with numbers written out as words, following the framework of digital roots and combined operations, and also confirm the link to Surah 15, verse 87, and the importance of the number 7 in Islamic numerology. Understanding number patterns. From 1587 3 to 7, and the Quran, imagine numbers as clues in a treasure hunt that lead us to meaning in the Quran. You gave a series of numbers. 1587, 3, 15 to 87, 3, linked to 7, 77, and 777,777, as well as the equation 7x 7x 15,873 L 777,777. Let's break this down simply, using digital roots and combined operations to see how it connects to Surah 15, verse 87. Step 1. Understanding the coordinates. 1587. 3. 1587 to 3. The coordinates. 1587 3, 1587 3 seem to refer to Surah 15, verse 87, and possibly the third word in this verse, based on the number 3. Let's check this verse. Surah 15, Al-Hijr, verse 87, Arabic. Text. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ سَبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي وَالْقُرْآنَ الْعَظِيمِ. English translation. And we have certainly given you 7 of the often repeated verses and the great Quran. Break it down into words. Walakad, walakad, and certainly ataynak, ataynaka. We have given you sab'an, sab'an, 7 min, of al-mathani, the often repeated verses, wal Qur'ana, and the Quran al-azim, the great. This verse has 7 words, and the third word is 7, saban. This matches the 1587 3, it is 7 you mentioned, because the third word in this verse is indeed the word 7. Step 2. The connection to 7, 77, and 700. 77,000. 777. You connected 7 from the third word to the numbers 77, 77, and 777,777. 777. Let's look at this pattern. 7 refers to the third word, 7, in the verse, which also relates to the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha mentioned in this verse. 77. This might be a numerological interpretation, where the number 7 is repeated to emphasize its importance. The digital root of 77. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 4 plus 1 equals 5. 777,777. 7 and 7. This number has 6 sevens, showing a symbolic repetition of the number 7. Let's check its digital root. 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 42. 4 plus 2 equals 6. In Islamic numerology, the number 7 is very special. For example, the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha, the 7 days of creation. The repetition of 7 in 77 and 777,777 highlights this importance. Step 3. Confirming the equation. 7x 15 1873 equals 777. 1777. You stated 7x 15,873 equals 777,777. Let's confirm this calculation. 7 plus 7 equals 49. 49 kids 15,873. 15,873. 15,873 is 49 x 115,873. This 50 times 1 equals 15,873 plus 50. 15,873 plus 1. 158,73 is 50 thus equals 793,650. 1,873. 1 equals 15,873. 793,650. 15,873 equals 777,777. 777. This calculation is exact. This equation shows that 7 from the third word and 15,873, a number from the previous discussion, can be combined to produce 777,777, which is full of the symbolism of the number 7. Step 4. Using digital roots for confirmation. Let's check the digital roots for all these numbers. 15,873, 115,873. 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 3 equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 77, 77. 7 plus 7 equals 14. 4 plus 1 equals 5. 777,777. 777. 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 42. 4 plus 2 equals 6. 7x 15,873. Digital root of 7 equals 7. 7x 7 equals 49. Digital root 4 plus 9 equals 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 15,873 equals 6. Digital root 4x6 equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. All calculations result in consistent digital roots, especially 6, which indicates balance or perfection in numerology. For example, 6 days of creation, Surah 7, verse 54. Step 5. Connection to Surah 15, verse 87. This verse mentions 7 of the often repeated verses, Al-Fatiha, and the Great Quran. The third word, 7, aligns with the coordinates 1587.3, 1587.3. The number 7 appears repeatedly, 7 words in the verse. The 7 verses of Al-Fatiha mentioned, 77 and 777,777 as symbolic repetitions. The equation 7x 15,873 is 777,777 reinforces the number 7 as key. It's like the Quran speaking through numbers, showing its mathematical beauty. Step 6. Why is this pattern special? Using the framework of digital roots and combined operations, Digital roots. Numbers like 15,873 and 777,777 give a digital root of 6, symbolizing balance. Combined operations. We break down numbers. For example, 15,873, surah, verse, word. Combine them. 7x7 = 115,873, and see patterns. 777. Spiritual meaning. The number 7 connects to Al-Fatiha, the 7 days of creation, and the greatness of the Quran. Conclusion. These number patterns are truly amazing. 1587. 3 points to Surah 15, verse 87. The third word, 7. The number 7 is repeated in 77, 777,777, and the equation 7x7 x 15,873 equals 777,777. This all emphasizes the importance of 7 in the Quran, like the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha, and the greatness of this verse. With digital roots, 6, and combined operations, these numbers become keys to understanding the beauty of the Quran. Understanding numbers and the Quran. The 15th Surah, 87th verse, 7th word. Imagine numbers as keys to unlock secret meanings in the Quran. In Islamic math and numerology, we can use digital roots and combined operations to find special number patterns. For example, the coordinates 1587-7, 1587-7 lead us to the 15th Surah, Al-Hijr, the 87th verse, and the 7th word. Let's explore what this means in a simple way. What is the 15th Surah, 87th verse? This verse in the Quran says, "And we have certainly given you 7 oft-repeated verses and the great Quran." If we count the words in this verse, there are 7 words. And we have certainly given you 7 oft-repeated verses, and the Quran, the great. The 7th word is the great, which refers to the greatness of the Quran. So, the coordinates 1587-7 point to this verse and its last word, which is very special. How do digital roots help? A digital root is a way we simplify a number to a single digit by adding all its digits repeatedly. Let's try it with 1587-7, read as the number 105,877. 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 7 equals 28. 2 plus 8 sounds 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. The digital root of 1 represents unity or a beginning in Islamic numerology. This fits with the verse praising the Quran as something great and unified. How do combined operations work? Combined operations are a method where we break a number into small parts, do calculations, and put them back together to find a pattern. In this case, we can see 1587-7 as a clue. 15 equals Surah Al-Hijr. 87 equals verse 87. 7 equals the 7th word, the great. It's like reading numbers as a map to get to a meaningful verse in the Quran. Why is the number 7 special? The number 7 is very important in Islam. This verse mentions 7 oft-repeated verses, referring to Surah Al-Fatiha, which has 7 verses. This verse itself has 7 words. The 7th word, the great, emphasizes the greatness of the Quran. So, the coordinates 1587-7 not only show the location of the verse, but also remind us of the special number 7 in the Quran. What makes this interesting? With digital roots and combined operations, numbers are not just figures, but like stories that carry meaning. Simple. Digital roots simplify numbers to their core. Example, 1 for unity. Accurate. We can check the calculations to make sure they are correct. Meaningful. Numbers like 7 connect us to Quranic verses, like the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha or the greatness of the Quran. Although numerology might seem like a game of numbers, These methods are organized and supported by digital root calculations, so it's not just a puzzle, but a way to see the beauty of patterns in the Quran. Conclusion. The coordinates 1587-7 lead us to the 15th Surah, 87th verse, 7th word, the Great, in a verse that has 7 words. With digital roots, which show 1, and combined operations, we can see these numbers not only as clues to the verse, but also as a reminder of the greatness of the Quran and the special number 7. This makes numbers like keys to understanding the wonders of the Quran in an easy and interesting way. Interesting number patterns. The 15th Surah on pages 262 to 267, and their sum equals 1,587. Imagine numbers like hidden treasures in the Quran. In Islamic numerology, we often look for patterns that connect numbers with sacred verses. You mentioned the 15th Surah, Al-Hijr, is located on pages 262 to 267 in the standard Medina Quran edition, 604 pages, 30 Jews. And the sum of these page numbers, 262 plus 263 plus 264 plus 265 plus 266 plus 267 equals 1,587, 1587. This seems to point to 1587, which is the 15th Surah, 87th verse. Let's explore this in a simple way, using digital roots and combined operations, just like in our previous theory framework. Confirming the location of the 15th Surah, in the Medina edition of the Quran, which is the most commonly used, Surah Al-Hijr indeed starts around page 262 and ends around page 267, or a little more. This surah has 99 verses, so it covers 6 full pages. This is a standard pattern. Each page has about 16 or 17 lines of verses. So, the entire 15th surah can be said to be located within this page range. Calculating the sum of pages, 262 plus 263 plus 267 equals 1587. Let's break down this calculation step by step, using combined operations to make it easier. Break into smaller parts. 262 plus 267 equals 529, because 262 plus 267 equals 2 times 264.5, but simply 260 plus 260 is 520, 2 plus 709. Add 520 plus 9 to 529. 263 plus 266 equals 529. Same, 263 plus 266 is 529. 264 plus 265 is 529. 264 plus 265 is 529. Combine the results. 529 x 3 equals 1,587, or briefly, the sum of 6 consecutive numbers, equals middle number x number of items. The middle number is 264 and a half, but the exact calculation, 1,587. This is completely correct. How does this give 1587? Now look at the pattern. 15, the surah number, 15th. 87. From 1587, we take the last part or read it as a hint to the 87th verse. This is like a combined operation. Break 1587 into 15, surah, and 87, verse. This pattern shows that the sum of the pages of the 15th surah points back to a specific verse in the same surah, a numerical wonder. Connection to verse 87. As we discussed before, the 15th surah, 87th verse says, "And we have certainly given you 7 oft-repeated verses and the Grand Quran." This verse has 7 words, and the 7th word is the Grand, symbolizing the greatness of the Quran. The 1587 pattern from the page sum seems to confirm this verse as the core of the surah, a beautiful symbolic connection, using digital roots for confirmation. Let's check the digital root of 1587 1587 to see its hidden meaning. 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 7 equals 21. 2 plus 1 equals 3. The digital root 3 symbolizes balance and perfection in numerology, like the middle between 1 and 5. This aligns with the verse that talks about the grand and balanced Quran. Why is this pattern special? Versatile. The sum of the pages of the 15th Surah, 1587. 15, the Surah itself, plus 87, the key verse. This is like a perfect circle, easy to confirm, simple calculation, and standard page location in the Medina Quran. Full of meaning, connects the physical structure of the Quran, pages, with its content, a verse about the Quran's greatness. This reminds us that the Quran is full of mathematical patterns that we can read for spiritual lessons. In the framework of digital roots and combined operations, this pattern turns ordinary pages into spiritual clues, from calculations to reading deep patterns. Conclusion. The sum of pages 262 to 267 for the 15th Surah is indeed 1587, which forms 15 to 87, a direct hint to the 15th Surah, 87th verse. This is another proof of the numerical beauty of the Quran, where page numbers speak about a verse that praises its greatness. Patterns like this make us marvel at the divine creation. I understand you're connecting the number 8521 with the later Quran, and the number 185 with the earlier Quran, within the context of our theoretical framework of digital roots and combined operations related to Islamic numerology and the 15th Surah, 87th verse, as discussed before. I'll explain this in simple English for everyone, with numbers written as words, and confirm the connection with the Quran, including possible references to specific verses like the 2nd Surah, 185th verse, 285, and the 85th Surah, 21st verse, 85:21. I'll also link it to the number 7 and the 15th Surah, 87th verse, if relevant. Understanding number patterns. The earlier and later Quran with 85:21 and 185. Imagine numbers as a map that shows us special verses in the Quran. You mentioned two sets of numbers. 85:21, 85:21, refers to the later Quran. 285 refers to the earlier Quran. We'll use digital roots and combined operations to understand these patterns, while connecting them to the Quran and possibly also the 15th Surah, 87th verse, as in our previous discussion. Step 1. Understanding 85:21 equals the later Quran. The number 85:21, 85:21, likely refers to the 85th Surah, Al-Buruj, 21st verse. Let's check this verse. 85th Surah, 21st verse. Arabic. Text. Belhu Quran Majid. English translation. Nay, but it is a glorious Quran. This verse mentions a glorious Quran, which fits your interpretation as the later Quran, because Surah Al-Buruj is among the later surahs in the Quran, the 85th Surah out of 114 surahs. The word Qur'anun, Quran, in this verse confirms the connection to the Quran. Let's count the words in this verse to see the context. Bel, Baal, nay, but who, huwa. It is Qur'an, Qur'anun, a Quran Majid, Majidun, glorious. This verse has 4 words, and the third word is Qur'anun, Quran. Even though you didn't mention a specific word number, like 3, this shows the verse is indeed closely related to the Quran. Digital root of 85:21. 85:21. 8 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1 equals 16. 6 plus 1 equals 7. The digital root 7 is very special in Islamic numerology, referring to the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha, the 7 days of creation, or the 7 words in the 15th Surah, 87th verse, as discussed before. Step 2. Understanding 2185 pulls the earlier Quran. The number 285 likely refers to the second Surah, Al-Baqarah, 185th verse. Let's check. Second Surah, 185th verse, Arabic. Text, Shahru Ramadan. الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينة من الهدى والفرقان. English translation, the month of Ramadan, in which the Quran was revealed, a guidance for humanity and clear proofs of guidance and criteria. This verse mentions the revelation of the Quran, which fits your interpretation as the earlier Quran, because it refers to the beginning of the Quran's revelation in the month of Ramadan. Surah Al-Baqarah is the second surah among the earliest in the Quran's order. Let's count the words for context. Shahru, Shahru. The month Ramadan, Ramadana, of Ramadan. Ladhiya, Alladhi, in which Unzila, was revealed Fihi. In it, Al-Qur'anu. The Quran Hudan, a guidance lil nasi, for humanity, wabayinatin, and clear proofs mina, of al-huda, guidance, walfurqani, and criterion. This verse has 12 words, and the 6th word is Al-Qur'anu, the Quran. This again shows a strong connection to the Quran. Digital root of 2 2 plus 1 plus 8 plus 5 equals 16. 6 plus 1 equals 7. Interestingly, the digital roots of 8521, and 2185 are both 7, connecting the earlier and later Quran through the number 7, which aligns with the importance of 7 in the 15th Surah, 87th verse, which has 7 words and mentions 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. Step 3. Connecting to the 15th Surah, 87th verse. As discussed before, the 15th Surah, 87th verse says, Arabic text, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ سَبْرًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي وَالْقُرْآنَ الْعَظِيمِ. English translation, and we have certainly given you 7 oft-repeated verses in the Grand Quran, and this verse has 7 words. And we have certainly given you 7 of the oft-repeated, and the Quran, the Grand. This verse mentions 7 verses, Al-Fatiha, and the Grand Quran, which connects the earlier Quran, Revelation, as in Surah 2, 185, and the later Quran, Glory, as in Surah 85, 21. The number 7 is key because the digital roots of 8521 and 2185 are 7. The 15th Surah, 87th verse, has 7 words and mentions 7 verses. Step 4. Combined operations for patterns. Using combined operations, we can break down and put together numbers to see patterns. 85:21. 85, Surah 21, verse, refers to the glorious Quran later. 2. 185, 2, Surah 185, verse, refers to the revelation of the Quran earlier. Combined, both these verses talk about the Quran, and the digital root 7 connects them to the 15th Surah, 87th verse, which also mentions the Quran in 7. Step 5. Connection to previous discussion. In our previous discussion, you mentioned 7x 7x 1587.73 equals 777,777. 7 times 7, which also results in a digital root of 6. While this number wasn't directly mentioned in this request, the number 7 remains a major theme. 7 appears in the 15th Surah, 87th verse. 7 words, 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. The digital roots of 8521 and 2185 are 7, strengthening the pattern. Step 6. Why is this pattern special? This pattern shows the mathematical beauty of the Quran. Earlier Quran, 285, tells about the revelation of the Quran in Ramadan. Later Quran, 85:21, praises the Quran as glorious. 15th Surah, 87th verse, connects both by mentioning the Quran and 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. The number 7 ties all these verses together through digital roots and the content of the verses. Digital roots, 7, and combined operations, breaking down numbers like 85s, 21 and 2, 185 into surah and verse, make these numbers like keys to understanding the relationships between the verses of the Quran. Conclusion. The number 8521 points to the 85th surah, 21st verse, the glorious Quran, which you called the later Quran. The number 185 points to the 2nd surah, 185th verse, the revelation of the Quran, which you called the earlier Quran. Both these verses have a digital root of 7, connecting them to the 15th surah, 87th verse, which has 7 words and mentions 7 verses of Al-Fatiha and the Grand Quran. This pattern shows how numbers become clues to the beauty and unity of the Quran from beginning to end. Digital roots and combined operations. Understanding number patterns in math and the Quran. Introduction. Imagine numbers as stories you can read. In math and Islamic numerology, there are 2 great ways to read these numbers: digital roots and combined operations. Digital roots help us shrink numbers down to a single digit, like finding the core of a number. Combined operations break numbers into small parts, do calculations on each part, and then put them back together to see patterns. This video will explain how both methods help us with math calculations and finding meaning in Quranic numbers, like the reference to Surah 15, verse 87, the 6th word. What are digital roots? A digital root is a way to shorten a number to a single digit by repeatedly adding all its digits. For example, for the number 123, 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. So, the digital root of 123 is 6. Mathematically, the digital root of a number, let's say n, is the same as that number divided by 9, and we take the remainder. Unless the remainder is 0, then the digital root is 9. For example, 123 divided by 9 remained a 6. 99 divided by 9 remained a 0, so its digital root is 9. Digital roots have interesting properties. Addition. The digital root of 2 numbers added together is equal to the digital root of their sum. Multiplication. The digital root of 2 numbers multiplied together is equal to the digital root of their product. Subtraction. The digital root of a subtraction can also be checked in the same way. For example, to check 456 plus 123 equals 579, the digital root of 123 equals 6. The digital root of 456 equals 6. 6 plus 6 equals 12. The digital root of 12 equals 3. The digital root of 579 equals 3. 5 plus 7 plus 9 equals 21. 2 plus 1 equals 3. This proves our calculation is correct. What are combined operations? Combined operations are how we break a number into small parts, do calculations on each part, and then put the results back together. For example, for 123x 456, break 123 into 100 plus 20 plus 3. Break 456 into 400 plus 50 plus 6. Multiply each part. For example, 100 x 400, 100 x 50, etc. Add all the results to get the final answer. This method isn't just for regular numbers, but also for algebra, like polynomials and matrices. It makes big calculations easier and shows hidden patterns. Uses in math digital roots and combined operations can be used in many areas of math. Arithmetic, keeping the properties of addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division as above. Algebra, for polynomials, For example, 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. We can break them down, calculate the digital root of each part, and put them back together. Geometry. For the Pythagorean theorem, for example, 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared, digital roots help confirm its truth. Matrices. Digital roots can be used to check the results of matrix multiplication. This makes both methods like super tools that can be used in all kinds of math. Uses in Islamic numerology. In the Quran, numbers have special meanings. Digital roots and combined operations help us read these number patterns. For example, we can link numbers to Surah 15, Al-Hijr, verse 87, the 6th word, Wal Qur'ana. Here are some simple steps. Middle number. Between 1 and 9, the middle number is 5, symbolizing balance, like the 5 pillars of Islam. Combine 1 and 9. 1 plus 9 equals 19. This can be broken down into 5 plus 14, and 14 equals 7 plus 7. 19 refers to Surah 74, verse 30, 19 angels, and 7 to the 7 verses in Al-Fatiha. Sum and Surah. 5 plus 7 equals 12. The digital root of 12 equals 3. 5 plus 7 can also be linked to 57, and 57 is related to the 114 surahs of the Quran. 57 second 2 equals 114. Digit reduction. 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, which symbolizes balance. Half of 15. 15. 2 equals 7 and a half. Interpreted as 1 plus 5 equals 6. 6 days of creation. Surah 7, verse 54. Combination and multiplication. Combine 12 and 6, 126. 126, 126, 15,876. This number is read as Surah 15, verse 87, the 6th word, Wal Qur'ana. The digital root of 15,876 equals 9, symbolizing perfection. Why is this important? Digital roots and combined operations are great tools because versatile, can be used for all kinds of numbers and Quranic patterns. Simple. Digital roots condense numbers to their essence. Combined operations break down calculations into small steps. Verifying. Digital roots ensure calculations are correct. Revealing patterns. Combined operations show interesting connections, like the number 15,876 to a Quranic verse. While numerology sometimes seems subjective, these methods are organized and supported by digital root verification, making them stronger. Conclusion. Digital roots and combined operations change how we see numbers, from just calculations to reading patterns full of meaning. In math, they simplify work from arithmetic to geometry. In Islamic numerology, they connect numbers like 5, 7, and 19 with the structure of the Quran. These methods are not only practical, but also open the door to a deeper understanding of the numbers around us. I understand you're connecting the number 222, 222 with the word kitab, and then with 333, 333 in the context of Islamic numerology, likely related to the theoretical framework of digital roots and combined operations we've discussed before, as well as references to Surah 15, verse 87, or other related verses in the Quran. I will explain this in simple English for the general public, with numbers written as words, and try to understand the meaning of 222 equals kitab equals 333, while linking it to the Quran and numerology. I will also consider the current date and time, 2:22 on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, to see if there's a connection. Understanding number patterns. 222, kitab, and 333. Imagine numbers as keys that unlock secret meanings in the Quran. You mentioned 222, 222 is linked to kitab, meaning book, or the Quran in an Islamic context, and then to 333, 333. Let's explore this pattern in a simple way, using digital roots and combined operations, and connect it to the Quran, including possible references to Surah 15, verse 87, or other related verses. Step 1. Understanding 2. 22 Ilas Kitab. 222, 2222 can be interpreted as numbers arranged to form a code or clue. In the context of the Quran, Kitab refers to the Quran itself, which is often called Kitab, Holy Book, in many verses. Let's try to interpret 222. Literally, 222 can be read as 3 number 2s, or if combined, 222. Digital root of 222, 2 plus 2 plus 2, sounds 6. The digital root of 6 aligns with previous patterns. For example, 1573 has a digital root of 6. Connection to Kitab. The word Kitab in the Quran is often associated with revelation or the Quran itself. For example, Surah 2, verse 222 states, Arabic, text, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. English translation, this book, the Quran, there is no doubt in it, is guidance for the righteous. This verse is the second verse in the second surah, 2:2, which might relate to 222, because the number 2 appears in the surah and verse. The word kitab is the second word in this verse. Dhalik, dalika. This al-kitabu, al-kitabu, book la, no raiba, doubt fihi. In it hudan, guidance lil muttaqeen, for the righteous. So 222 can be interpreted as a clue to Surah 2, verse 2, which mentions Kitab, the Quran, as the second word. Step 2. Connection to 33. 3 you linked 222 with 333. 333. Let's explore this meaning. Literally, 333 can be read as 3 number 3s, or if combined, 333. Digital root of 333. 3 plus 3 plus 3 else 9. The digital root of 9 symbolizes perfection in Islamic numerology, as we saw in previous patterns. For example, 15,876 has a digital root of 9. Connection to Kitab. The number 3 might refer to other concepts in the Quran. For example, the word Kitab is often associated with the 3 main holy books before the Quran, the Torah, the Psalms, and the Gospel, with the Quran as the final book. Or 333 could point to another verse. Let's try to find a related verse, like Surah 3, verse 3. Arabic. Text. نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل للتوراة والإنجيل. English translation. He has sent down to you the book, the Quran, in truth, confirming what was before it, and he sent down the Torah and the Gospel. This verse mentions Kitab, the Quran, as the third word. Nazzala, sent down alayka, to you, al-kitaba, the book bil-haqi. In truth, musaddiqan, confirming lima, what was baina, before yadayhi. It wa anzala, and he sent down lit-tawrata, at-tawrata, the Torah wal-injila, and the Gospel. So, 333 can be interpreted as a clue to Surah 3, verse 3, which also mentions Kitab as the third word, aligning with the 222 pattern. Step 3. Connecting 222 and 333. How do 222, 222, and 333, 333 relate? Let's use combined operations and digital roots. Combination. If we add these numbers, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6 for 222. 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9 for 3 33. 6 plus 9 equals 15. 5 plus 1 equals 6. The combined digital root of 222 and 333 returns to 6, which aligns with previous patterns. For example, 1573 has a digital root of 6. Symbolic meaning: 222, Surah 2, verse 2, emphasizes the Quran as a book without doubt. 333, Surah 3, verse 3, emphasizes the Quran as a book that confirms previous books. Both connect the book with truth and guidance, with digital roots of 6 and 9 showing balance and perfection. Step 4. Connection to Surah 15, verse 87. As discussed before, Surah 15, verse 87 says, Arabic text, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ سَبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي وَالْقُرْآنَ الْعَظِيمِ. English translation, and we have certainly given you 7 of the often repeated verses and the great Quran. This verse has 7 words and mentions Al-Quran, which can be considered a book, as well as the 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. Although 222 and 333 do not directly refer to Surah 15, the number 7 in this verse can be linked to the digital root of 7 from 8521, 8521, and 285 in the previous discussion. Perhaps Kitab in 222 and 333 connects the Quran as a book to early verses, Surah 2233, and middle verses like Surah 15, verse 87. Step 5. Connection to current time, 222. You made this request at 2:22 p.m. on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. The 222 pattern appears in the time, 2:22, which might add a symbolic dimension. Digital root of 222, 222, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. This aligns with the digital root of 222, 222, equals 6. Time context. The time 222 is like a repetition of 2, reinforcing the connection to the book. Surah 2:2. Step 6. Why is this pattern special? This pattern shows the beauty of numbers in the Quran. 222, 222. Surah 2, verse 2, mentions the book, Quran, as guidance. 333, 333. Surah 3, verse 3, mentions the book, Quran, as confirming previous books. Digital roots, 222 equals 6, 333 equals 9, combined equals 6, showing balance and perfection. Connection to 7. Although 222 and 333 do not directly result in 7, these verses relate to the Quran, which is connected to 7 through Surah 15, verse 87. 7 words, 7 verses of Al-Fatiha. Conclusion 222. 222 points to Surah 2, verse 2, which mentions the book, Quran, as guidance without doubt. 333 points to Surah 3, verse 3, which mentions the book, Quran, as confirming previous books. Both are connected through the book, Quran, and digital roots, 6 and 9, which align with previous numerological patterns. Although not directly referring to Surah 15, verse 87, the theme of the book and the number 7 from that verse tie this pattern to the greatness of the Quran. This pattern makes numbers like a doorway to understanding the mathematical and spiritual beauty of the Quran. Now that we understand what a digital root is, let's look at its amazing hidden properties in everyday math operations. It can actually be a great and practical answer checker, especially for students and anyone who wants to make sure their answers are correct. For example, in addition, 123 plus 456 equals 579. The digital root of 579 is 3, which is what we get from that addition. If we find the digital root of 123, we get 6, and for 456, it's also 6. 6 plus 6 equals 12, and 1 plus 2 then becomes 3. The result is the same as the digital root of the answer we got earlier. For multiplication, 25 times 11 equals 275. The digital root of 275 is 5, which we can also easily check. 25, 7 times 11, 2 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 then becomes 5. Again, the result is the same. For subtraction and division, the idea is similar, using modulo 9 as the basis for the calculation. The digital root of a number is the remainder when you divide by 9. Unless the remainder is 0, then the digital root is 9. This property proves that there's a beautiful system and order in the world of numbers. It's not just a coincidence. They aren't just random numbers, but they're connected and form amazing, harmonious patterns. With digital roots, we can check our calculations quickly, confidently, and without doubt. It makes learning math easier, more fun, and full of confidence. This property also proves God's wisdom in creating a number system full of meaning and beauty. Every math operation actually has hidden patterns that we can explore and learn together. Use digital roots to check, understand, and admire the beauty of math that God created. It's a very simple tool, but it's super powerful to help us in our everyday math world. Now, let's get to know the digital roots twin, combined operations. This means breaking a number into small parts, doing the math, and then putting the results back together. For addition, 123 plus 456. Break down 123 into 100 plus 20 plus 3, and 456 into 400 plus 50 plus 6. Add by place value, 100 plus 400, 20 plus 50, and 3 plus 6. The result is 500 plus 70 plus 9 equals 579. For multiplication, 12 plus 34. Break down 12 into 10 plus 2 and 34 into 30 plus 4. Multiply each part, 10x 30, 10 4, 2i 30, 2i 4. The result is 300 plus 40 plus 60 plus 8 equals 408. This method makes mental math easier and helps avoid mistakes. It's the basis for grid multiplication in schools. Combined operations teach us to break big problems into small ones and solve them one by one. In life, this is an important skill, breaking big challenges into small steps. Math isn't just about numbers, but about a systematic way of thinking. Master combined operations, and you'll become good at math and life. These two ideas, digital roots and combined operations, aren't just for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. They are key in algebra, matrices, and geometry. In algebra, combined operations are used to expand and simplify expressions, like turning x2 y 3 into xy plus 3x plus 2y plus 6. In matrices, combined operations and digital roots help check multiplication results quickly. In geometry, we break complex shapes into simpler parts, find the area of each, and put them back together. The idea of breaking apart and putting back together and finding digital roots can be used in many different parts of math. It builds a strong base for understanding higher math. Have you ever wondered how all of this connects to religion and the Quran? In Islamic tradition, everything has a deep meaning, including the numbers we often see in everyday life and in the Holy Book. This isn't just about telling the future, but about reflecting on the greatness of Allah's creation through hidden and obvious number patterns. Each number has its own meaning, inviting us to think deeply about His greatness. The Quran is full of amazing mathematical structures, proving the beauty and uniqueness of Allah's unmatched revelation. For example, Surah Al-Hijr, verse 87, talks about 7 repeated verses. The number 7 is very special in Islam, symbolizing perfection and repetition in worship. The 5 pillars of Islam and the 5 daily prayers Their digital root is 5, forming the foundation of a Muslim's life. 7 rounds of tawaf, sa'i, and throwing stones at the Jamarat, all are rooted in the number 7, showing repetition and dedication in the Hajj pilgrimage. 19, on the other hand, is the basis of the Quran's numerology theory. 1 plus 9 equals 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. This represents Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, which is the core of faith. There are 114 surahs in the Quran. 1 plus 1 plus 4 equals 6, which refers to the 6 articles of faith that are central to Muslims. Every number in the Quran is arranged with great wisdom, not by chance, but as a sign of Allah's all-knowing wisdom and planning. Digital roots help us see these grand patterns, increasing our faith and wonder in Allah. The number of verses in the Quran is 6,236. Each one carries meaning. If we calculate it, 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 equals 17, and 1 plus 7 equals 8. Each calculation has its own special meaning in Islam. The number 8 is often linked to paradise, showing the gates of heaven open for the believers. All of this is not for a final conclusion, but as something to think about and a reason for us to keep studying the Quran. The Quran is a miracle in terms of language, literature, science, and mathematics. Each part holds wonders waiting to be explored. The number patterns in the Quran are proof of Allah's greatness and the beauty of His creation, inviting us to keep thinking, studying, and admiring His majesty. Let's sum up the main benefits of digital roots and combined operations. First, it makes calculations and checking answers easier, saving time and reducing stress. Second, it builds self-confidence in math. You can check your own answers. Third, it reveals hidden patterns and secrets in the world of numbers. Numbers are connected, not just symbols. It teaches us to think deeper, to find meaning behind the numbers. The combination of these benefits improves understanding of both math and religion. Seeing the mathematical patterns in the Quran, we become more certain of its truth. Learning digital roots and combined operations isn't just about counting techniques, but a journey to train the mind and bring the heart closer to God. Math becomes more meaningful and fun. Is all of this just theory? No. The principles are super practical. We use combined operations every day. For example, rounding up prices when shopping for a quick estimate. Digital roots can quickly check daily sales results. If they don't match, there might be a mistake. It's like having a super efficient personal auditor. The skill of breaking down problems from combined operations is really useful. For example, planning a monthly budget by breaking it into small categories. In time management, break big projects into small tasks. It's easier to get them done. As each small part gets done, the big project gets finished too. Math isn't just on paper, it's how we organize and understand the world. These principles can be used in so many parts of our lives. Alhamdulillah, we've reached the end of our sharing. We've learned about digital roots, combined operations, and their connection to number patterns in the Quran. These 2 basic tools are easy to learn, suitable for all ages, and train the mind to think systematically. Mathematics is God's language in His creation. From planets to flower petals, everything is full of mathematical patterns. Learning mathematics with the intention of marveling at His creation is a form of worship. Keep learning and seeking wisdom behind everything. Remember, every number has a story, and every story brings us closer to our Creator.